Yo guys, one popular question people ask me is how do I get Hearts of Iron 4 to run faster? And there are a bunch of console commands you can do to take advantage of a significantly faster experience. Let's just get the silly stuff out of the way first. Hearts of Iron 4 is mainly a CPU game, meaning if you upgrade your CPU and get a faster one overall, you will tend to find that Hearts of Iron 4 will become significantly faster just based on how much money you pay for your CPU. It's not what you want to hear, but it is what it is. And the only time a GPU will help you with Hearts of Iron 4 is if you have got a particularly super old one or super low end one, where you define that when you go for a super high end graphics card, the amount of gains you will gain in Hearts of Iron 4 when it comes down to the progress of in-game time will be significantly less compared to what you'll get from a CPU. And when I talk about performance of Hearts of Iron 4, I'm not talking about the main amount of frames per second. I'm getting about how fast the game progresses in time when you're on 5 speed. So overall, for instance, Hearts of Iron 4 tends to be a very long game. If you can play at 5 speed at significantly faster speeds, which is the maximum you can do if you've got a really good CPU, then overall you can obviously get one game session in within 3 hours. On average, a game session may be running on to 6, 7, 8. If it's multiplayer, maybe 24 hours. That's why I don't play MP. Anyway, let's load up a game. And let's show you the bunch of console commands. First, without saying, yes, you cannot play an Iron Man with this. No, you cannot get achievements with this. Sorry about this. First of all, tilde key is in the top left here. And what we're going to do with this is enter a bunch of console commands. Okay, let's get one of the more common ones out of the way, the ones that people already use anyway. Let's open notes. And it is the classic debug smooth. In short, it means that the visuals will keep up with the in-game calculations. So when debug mode is turned on, you will find that the visuals will keep up with the same rate as the calculations, meaning what you see is at the same rate it is happening. When you turn off debug smooth, you are potentially preventing that limit of visuals from syncing with the game, because the visuals could be slowing the game down. So in that case, the game could be running fast and calculations may be happening, but you may not necessarily be seeing them. Overall, it doesn't make a massive impact on your game overall, but be aware VSync, if it's on, will nullify some of the bonuses you will get from this. So in this case, debug_smooth, and you play 5 speed, and you tend to find you get a decent improvement in overall game speed. Remember, not performance, not frames per second. If you aren't getting particularly low frames per second in Hearts of Iron 4, a GPU upgrade is usually the best thing to do for that. However, if you have got a decent GPU and a decent CPU, you're not going to really be getting much performance of frames per second, for instance. Once again, this video is focused on getting actual game time and faster progression of game speed. And you tend to find that when you're running at 3 or 4 speed, the game will tend to be more smoother and you're able to play in micro more aggressively when the game progress time is occurring. Because one common thing you do in single player is you pause the game quite frequently to do your actions, because otherwise there's like a bit of a micro stutter when the game is playing and you're trying to move things around. Well, this will eliminate a lot of that by going for debug smooth. Be aware, if you have got a very, very dated graphics card too, debug smooth probably won't make no difference, and it might even make the game more jittery. Be aware too, if you are playing late game and there is a lot of in-game calculations, you can sometimes notice the debug smooth does actually go slower, and it might be better if the calculations are synced with the visuals, so therefore you don't get the problem where it stutters more. Overall though, if you want the game to run faster though, that is an easy way of doing it. The next one is weather. Now this borderline is cheating because it is changing the way core game mechanics works. It is a buff to planes overall, particularly if you have a strong air force. That means you are going to get a bonus for that. Blizzards, snowstorms, sandstorms, all potentially nullify air forces, but this will eliminate that ability. If you look really close, the game does kind of calculate snow, rainfall, and temperatures across the entirety of the map in each individual province, not state, province, and this potentially just lag the game down and does potentially slow it down. I'll be honest with you, quite often in my games I disable weather and I get a decent performance improvement overall. Actually, I'm noticing it now. I've gone 5 speed. Look at the speed of this. Oh my goodness, that's so fast. Okay, so weather appears to be a relatively biggie. However, recap, it is cheating. You will notice countries that have very strong air forces will get even stronger, and it will have a significant impact on seas as well, navies as well. Overall, because both sides will experience penalties for the navies as well, I'm unable to say whether it's the ones that have got a certain kind of ship will benefit more than others. I've not really looked into that one, but I would imagine if there's like a storm happening, it kind of both sides break even. I would imagine turning weather off is a big buff for carriers, but everything else not so much. probably a buff for submarines as well, because they kind of work with the weather, and then it doesn't work against you. Not sure on that one. I'll come back to me in the comments if you feel like you've got more information, but be aware Air Forces are significantly better. Anyway, let's get to the meat of the video. This is the command. Delete all units. This will delete all navies, and this will delete all units. But there is a but command. We type but, and then I have pre-made a console command that you can get from the description, and here it is. Delete all units, but USA, England, United Kingdom, France, Soviet Union, Germany. I've actually entered Germany twice there. 2 Germanys. And also Japan. Just, I'm going to little think for a second, just see if there's any that I've missed. Yeah, there's no Italy here. I guess that's meant to be Italy. Yeah, so Italy, I'm just updating my sheet here. Italy. Germany and Italy, I can't tell the difference between them. Is that a problem? Is anyone upset about that? Anyway, yeah, well, this is the command anyway. So it basically will delete all divisions and all navies of all these corresponding countries. It doesn't delete air forces, surprisingly. Why? I don't know. It's just the way the console command works. Boom. And then you hit enter, and you can see it's deleted 658 armies, fleets, and railway guns. And will be deleted in the next hour. And if you go 5 speed now, the speed is insanely fast. Absolutely eye-wateringly fast. Each day goes incredibly quick, and there's just like no pause at the end of the day. The simple answer is that all the minor powers in the game are constantly training divisions, building up forces, and you basically strip them of all those forces. There's an issue with AI. It's less of an issue these days, but it's less of it used to be a problem in the olden days. But if you go into observe and you watch how the AI behaves with its divisions, it does this thing where it constantly, at the end of the day, reshuffles its generals over and over and over again. I think when it does stabilize its general now, it does actually do that less. This has been significantly improved by some of the performance devs, the guys who work the AI and the back-end code. You can see, look, it's basically checking every division, every army, every front line, sometimes deleting a front line and then replacing it again. And this just eats into the performance of the game as it's constantly having to redistribute these front lines over and over and over again. And basically eliminating a bunch of divisions off the map makes a massive difference overall. Now, as you probably realize, this has thrown off the balance of the game. Germany can do Anschluss quicker because Austria hasn't got an army. Germany can basically steamroll Poland because they've got no division. Italy can steamroll Ethiopia because Ethiopia has no divisions. Of course, this massively throws off the balance of the game. Remember, you're sacrificing the game experience for a little bit of, well, not a little bit, a massive amount of performance. But here's this. Guess what? Dave has actually thought of that. So there are extra commands. So we'll just put these ones in here. So these are the basics. Be aware this one's a freebie. This one can potentially affect your air forces. And this is the one that specifically is for majors only. But I made another one. So if you're not looking to go full ham and eliminate all hold and preserve the majors, we've got one here that specifically will preserve China, Poland, Ethiopia, and I put Australia on here. Oh, it's Austria. Oh my God, Austria, Australia. Tell those countries apart, right? It's so easy, right? So that what it will preserve Anschluss, it will preserve Poland, it will preserve Ethiopia, and it will also preserve Japan in the China War. Because remember, this one can give a buff to Japan. Remember, if you want to play a more multiplayer experience where majors fight majors, I think this is definitely the one for you. I kind of find this one's really fun. I don't know, this one's really great because I get to play majors against majors. I get a nice smooth performance experience and I enjoy the game more. Be aware, this is a nerf to the allies, so I find this quite a fun experience to play as Germany or Italy and try and take out the allies, but it has weakened the allies. So I suppose the other way around, I suppose. I'm thinking the wrong way around. So playing as England and then taking out Germany, and you've basically got a handicap because all of the Commonwealth countries have lost all the divisions, so that's quite fun. Anyway, do you want to go any further? Do you want to go one step beyond? Well, I've thought of that as well. We can also delete all units, but so we've got the majors. Then we have the early wars, and then plus all the early wars. So I've called this one Early War Plus. So we have Norway, Holland, Belgium, Luxembourg, Manchukuo, all the warlords, the PRC. So basically, you're preserving more of China. Therefore, that area of the world will more likely hold back. And then also the early start of 1939 World War II. So basically preserving the Netherlands and Belgium. I chose not to include Luxembourg, and I've chose not to include Denmark in this one, because at the end of the day, it doesn't make much difference. Denmark doesn't actually fight any wars. Have you noticed that the minute that you declare them, they instantly surrender, and then they're not really occupying any divisions anyway, so what's the point in that circumstance? The only exception to that is probably Norway. I guess you could include Norway if you want to, I suppose. Be aware the game will remake these divisions. So if you do use this command at the very start of the game, Norway will remake its divisions from the start of the game and rebuild them up again, but it will be weaker than it would be in the normal part of the game in 1939. So just an FYI on that one. Well, guess this. There is actually one more. I've called this Old World War II War. So I've basically done the job for you guys. This is the annoying part. I'm defining all the tags for the countries, and we've just gone all ham here. So we've got the minor Axis powers, Hungary, Romania. Then we've got Yugoslavia and Greece. I guess these are allied powers. We've got Bulgaria, minor Axis powers. Then we've got the Commonwealth and Mexico, as well as South America, Brazil, Argentina. Basically historical countries that joined the war. Then we have... I'm not even sure what CHL is. I think that might be CHL. Just double check. Not Siam. I've included Siam. I've included New Zealand and Indonesia, Australia. I'm actually not sure what CHL, but I definitely entered it in. I suppose another one I forgot to include is actually the Raj as well. Include the Raj. See, we're making it up as we go along here, boys. So that will cover the early wars, the beginning wars, the early wars, and also the duration of World War II as well. And potentially all the nations that can join World War II a little bit later, such as Turkey, Chile, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, like the late joiners of World War II. Be aware, though, you're not obviously going to get as much performance from this, but get on the positive note, this is a good command to run if you are in 1942, 43, and it is lagging pretty hard for you, and there's extra divisions around the world that are eating into the wars, but it doesn't affect the major powers who are currently at war. In the future, it'd be kind of nice if Paradox introduced the one that said delete all units, but not at war. Not at war. Now, that would be a really useful command, Paradox. Because in that situation where you would be, I guess, in the depth, dig deep into World War II, and you want the ability to give a game a bit of speed, that'd be a nice thing to do. Because then you find when Barbarossa kicks off, and then, I don't know, the Philippines and the Soviets have all gone to war. Sorry, USA, Philippines, and Japan are all at war. At that point, everyone's at war. That's the max amount of wars. I suppose running a command like that would work. But that command doesn't exist, by the way. It's just a fictional thing that I just made up. There's one more. There is actually one more. And I refer to this as chaos mode. And it's basically delete all units and then nothing else. And in that case, you have deleted every single navy, every single division across the entirety of the entire planet. There is no divisions. Everything has to be made from the ground up. And I suppose it makes a fun multiplayer scenario if you want to start the game like this. But remember, this is a massive disadvantage to so many countries, and it will throw off the complete balance of the game. If it makes sense, this is basically a historical scenario. I basically created a bunch of console commands here that are specifically single-player orientated. If you turn historical off, or you've got a bunch of players on multiplayer, and they're playing minor powers, it will create really weird, wonky scenarios. So it is basically aimed towards historical single player, but you could work on multiplayer situations. So what you would do in multiplayer is you would kind of load the game up. You would run, let's say, this command, and then you let everyone load up as Germany or whatever, and then you get a really fast in-game speed. All right, guys, I'm going to lie. This video went on for way longer than I actually expected, but I tend to find that I run this command here really frequently because I end up finding the game runs so much smoother, and I can record a 2-3 hour session of Hearts of Iron 4, and I can really, really enjoy the game because I get so much more pleasure from the game when it runs smoothly. And I've got a God tier PC, so there is nothing higher than this that I can get to speed up the experience. That's the reason why I do that. You found that any console commands have been effective for you guys? Please let me know in the comments. I tend to find that this is 20% boost, and then you tend to get more of a 40 or 50% boost with some of these ones, but then it has diminishing returns the further you go down. And that's just been tested by running a stopwatch and then running the in-game timer. Just to recap, if anyone's confused, it's not based on raw performance at frames per second. It's based on the actual in-game time. And faster in-game time means you can get actual more of a gaming session and therefore enjoy the build-up process, which is always what tends to be the long one. Guys, if you enjoy feedback our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Any suggestions I could have got wrong or I could correct you on, please comment below. Apart from that, have a good day. Bye-bye.